Hey, squirrels, I apologize for being missing. Just been so tired. I'm good now. Until I start reading, then I read myself to sleep. I was hoping it would get done with the Christmas stories by today, but I don't know how long this one is, so. But it doesn't matter, because there's the 12 days of Christmas, starting today with number 1, I think. Kate's Choice, first published in 1874. Well, what do you think of her? I think she's a perfect dear and not a bit stuck up with all her money. A real little lady and ever so pretty. She kissed me lots and don't tell me to run away, so I love her. I guess it's supposed to be didn't tell me to run away. The group of brothers and sisters standing round the fire laughed as little May finished the chorus of praise with these crowning virtues. Tall Alf, A-L-F, asked the question and seemed satisfied with the general approval of the new cousin just come from England to live with them. They had often heard of Kate and rather prided themselves on the fact that she lived in a fine house, was very rich, and sent them charming presents. Now pity was added to the pride, for Kate was an orphan, and all her money could not buy back the parents she had lost. They had watched impatiently for her arrival. Ba welcomed her cordially, B-A-A. After a day spent in trying to make her feel at home, they were comparing notes in the twilight while Kate was having a quiet talk with Mama. I hope she'll choose to live with us. You know she can go to any of the uncles she likes best, said Alf. We're nearer her age than any of the other cousins, and Papa's the oldest uncle, so I guess she will, added Millie, the 14-year-old daughter of the house. She said she liked America, said quiet Frank. Wonder if she'll give us a lot of her money, put in practical Fred, who was always in debt. Stop that, commanded Alf. Mind now, if you ever ask her for a penny, I'll shake you out of your jacket. Hush, she's coming, cried Millie, and a dead silence followed the lively chatter. A fresh-faced, bright-eyed girl of 15 came quietly in, glanced at the group on the rug, and paused as if doubtful whether she was wanted. Come on, said Fred encouragingly. Shall I be in the way? Oh, dear, no, we were only talking, answered Millie, drawing her cousin nearer with an arm about her waist. It sounded like something pleasant, said Kate, not exactly knowing what to say. We were talking about you, began little May, when a poke from Frank made her stop to ask, What's that for? We were talking about Kate, and we all said we liked her, so it's no matter if I do tell. You're very kind, and Kate looked so pleased that the children forgave May's awkward frankness. Yes, and we hoped you'd like us and want to stay with us, said Alf, in the lofty and polite manner which he thought became the young lord of the house. I'm going to try all the uncles in turn and then decide. Papa wished it, answered Kate, with a sudden tremble of the lips, for her father was the only parent she could remember and had been unusually dear for that reason. Can you play billiards? Asked Fred, who had a horror of seeing city girls cry. No, not city girls, just girls. I thought, well, city girls. Yes, and I'll teach you. You had a pony carriage at your house, didn't you? Added Frank, eager to help on the good work. At Grandma's. I had no other home, you know, answered Kate. What shall you buy with your money? Asked May, who would ask improper questions. I'd buy a grandma if I could, said Kate. And Kate both smiled and sighed. How funny. We've got one somewhere, but we don't much care about her, continued May with the inconvenient candor of a child. Have you? Where is she? And Kate turned quickly, looking full of interest. Papa's mother is very old and lives ever so far away in the country, so of course we don't see much of her, explained Alf. But Papa writes sometimes, and Mama sends her things every Christmas. We don't remember her much because we never saw her. But once, ever so long ago. Yeah, that goes with that, I guess. But we do care for her, and May mustn't say such rude things, said Millie. I shall go and see her. I can't get on without a grandmother. And Kate smiled so brightly that the lads thought her prettier than ever. Tell me more about her. Is she a dear old lady? Don't know. She's lame and lives in the old house and has a maid named Dolly, and that's all I can tell you about her, said Millie. And Millie looked a little vexed that she could say no more on the subject that seemed to interest her cousin so much. Kate looked surprised, but said nothing and stood looking at the fire as if turning the matter over in her mind and trying to answer the question she was too polite to ask. How could they live without a grandmother? Here the tea bell rang and the flock ran laughing downstairs, but though she said no more, Kate remembered that conversation and laid a plan in her resolute little mind, which she carried out when the time came. According to her father's wish, she lived for a while in the family of each of the 4 uncles before she decided with which she would make her home. All were anxious to have her, one because of her money, another because her great-grandfather had been a lord, a third hoped to secure her for his son, while the 4th and best family loved her for herself alone. They were worthy people as the world goes, busy, ambitious, and prosperous, and everyone, old and young, was fond of bright, pretty, generous Kate. Each family was anxious to keep her, a little jealous of the rest, and very eager to know which she would choose. But Kate surprised them all by saying decidedly when the time came, I must see Grandma before I choose. Perhaps I ought to have visited her first, as she is the oldest, and I think Papa would wish me to do it. At any rate, I want to pay my duty to go to her before I settle anything, so please let me go. Some of the young cousins laughed at the idea in her old-fashioned, respectful way of putting it, which contrasted strongly with their free and easy American speech. The uncles were surprised, but agreed to humor her whim, and Uncle George, the eldest, said softly, I ought to have remembered that poor Anna was Mother's only daughter, and the old lady would naturally love to see the girl. But, my dear, it will be desperately dull. Only 2 old women in a quiet country town. No fun, no company. You won't stay long. I shall not mind the dullness if Grandma likes to have me there. I lived there quietly in England and was never tired of it. Nursey can take care of me, and I think the sight of me will do the old lady good because they tell me I'm like Mama. Something in the earnest young face reminded Uncle George of his sister he had almost forgotten, and recalled his own youth so pleasantly that he said with a caress of the curly head beside him, So it would, I'm sure it would, and I've a great mind to go with you and pay my duty to the mother, as you prettily express it. Oh no, please don't, sir. I want to surprise her, and have all to myself for a little while. Would you mind if I went quite alone with Nursey? You can come later. Not a bit. You shall do as you like and make sunshine for the old lady as you have us. I haven't seen her for a year, but I know she's well and comfortable, and Dolly guards her like a dragon. Give her my love, Kitty, and tell her I send her something she will value 100 times more than the very best tea. the finest cap or the handsomest tabby that ever purred. So, in spite of the lamentations of her cousins, Kate went gaily away to find the grandma whom no one else seemed to value as she did. You see, Grandpa had been a farmer and lived contentedly on the old place until he died. But his 4 sons wanted to do something better, so they went away, one after the other, to make their way in the world. All worked hard, got rich, lived splendidly, and forgot as far as possible the old life in the dull old place they came from. They were good sons in their way and had each offered his mother a home with him if she cared to come. But Grandma clung to the old home, the simple ways and quiet life, and thanking them gratefully, she had remained in the big farmhouse. Empty, lonely, and plain though it was compared to the fine homes of her sons. Little by little, the busy men forgot the quiet, uncomplaining old mother who spent her years thinking of them, longing to see and know their children, hoping they would one day remember how she loved them all and how solitary her life must be. And y'all, I know that wasn't a whole bunch, but I'm going to stop right there and wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Love on those families, those grandmas. See you tomorrow. Did I say be sweet, don't be ugly? There you go.